Welcome to the Vibrant Life podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Ashley Thomas. This week, I am joined by Dr. Emily, who is a chiropractor in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. She is the owner of Lux Chiropractic, where she works in pain management and health maintenance. She has a passion for pediatric and prenatal care. She enjoys helping people live their best quality of life. She also loves fitness and nutrition, so she incorporates that into her chiropractic practice. She said, I am also a huge advocate for informed choices when it comes to raising healthy kids. I love to educate families and support their voice to make their own healthcare decisions. Her son is 8 years old. Outside of being a mom, she enjoys working out and says she's a junkie for the gym. She is big into quality time with her family, so she'll enjoy doing getaways like water parks, bowling, going for a simple walk around the neighborhood. In her own words, I also love any sort of healthy activity. For example, recently, my husband and I have been doing cold plunges. We do it in the wellness center that I work out of, but we've also started meeting with a group of people to plunge in the river on the weekends, and then we get coffee afterwards. Super fun way to do healthy activities with like minded people. She also notes that her husband and her also enjoy hitting up saunas and using red light and halo therapy to support their healthy bodies. As a family, they are busy with athletics. Her son is big into hockey and he also plays baseball and soccer. So when they aren't at sports activities, they like to hang out at home and watch movies together. They recently moved into their home, so it feels nice to just unwind and be in each other's company. When asked what her favorite way to treat herself is, she said, I love treating myself. I am incredibly consistent with my self care. I love massages and getting my nails done. Every so often, I'll schedule a couple hours at the spa, but my husband and I like to exchange taking care of each other as well. We do things like facial cupping on each other for some natural wrinkle management and lymph movement. I will link her social media of where you can connect with her in the description. With that, I give you Dr. Emily. Welcome. I'm so excited to chat with you about your pregnancy, birth, and just journey to motherhood today.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah,
It's something you don't discuss every day, so I actually
right?
really enjoy that I get to revisit this.
Oh, that's so exciting. Because you have an 8-year-old, correct? 8-year-old
I
son?
do. He'll be 9 this fall.
Oh, wow. That's so crazy. So tell me a little bit about his birth and your pregnancy and all that good stuff. I want to hear it all.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I was pregnant with my son, like kind of right within the first year of chiropractic school. So of course, as I'm prepping to take my boards and do all that fun stuff. But it was a fantastic time and I would not change it because I ended up being able to take him to school with me and finish
Yeah,
school and yeah, so it was perfect. But anyways, being in chiropractic school pregnant, you're like this walking gem that everybody wants to work on you and adjust you because it's
yeah,
not like there are that many pregnant women walking around. So
right.
I had the most fantastic pregnancy. I really loved it. And, that's similar to you, why, I love what we do because I want to make it a great experience for women.
Definitely.
So yeah, down in Georgia, nice and hot. So I was pregnant during the summer. Loved my chiropractic treatments and just kind of trying anything and everything. I was doing yoga like right before I got pregnant. So I just kind of stayed consistent with that.
Cool.
And then my roommate, who was in chiropractic school as well, she was a massage therapist previously, so I got pretty consistent massages during my pregnancy too.
Oh wow. The perks of like being in our little chiropractic bubble at school is you've got a lot of people that went from massage into chiropractic and then you
Yeah,
get the chiropractor so you get you get extra hands to help you feel good and
yeah, I
function
know.
better.
Everybody like bringing in the things that they did previously or that they specialize in, and offering
Yeah.
it to others. So yeah, it was like the perfect community to. And I mean, I think it's so true that it takes a village to raise a child because I felt like I had my village, like
Yeah.
even after he was born, just people, coming over to rock him while I took a nap or studied or whatever. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, it was good. So
That's so awesome.
I was very fortunate for all that. But yeah, so I initially I wasn't sure like what I wanted to do in terms of like labor and all that. I'm the youngest of seven, so I really was never around like pregnant women or kids. I mean, one of my older sisters, had my niece and nephew, but they lived across the country, so I just really wasn't like that great with understanding all that sort of stuff. So that is kind of a part of the reason why selfishly I did the ICPA seminars, the International Chiropractic Pediatric Association, so
Yeah.
that I could selfishly learn more about
Yeah.
like how to take care of my son and take care of myself.
I love it.
But it's cool how it like transitions, into what I do now. So life always leads you where you need to be. But
100%.
anyways, yeah, I wasn't sure what I really wanted to do in terms of labor. I had a lot of like women in my life, just kind of more on that like concerned and due to their like experiences that they had. And so kind of pushing me towards more of that like conventional medical routes. But I just knew, in my heart, it wasn't something that I felt I wanted to do. I just had my own experiences in hospital settings, and I just was like, you know what, I need to explore something different because this just doesn't seem like where I want to give birth to my baby.
Yeah.
So the best thing for me was honestly just talking to people that, I saw, these healthy, great pregnancies, birthing experiences, and I'm just like, what did you do? And like, how can I do similar?
Yeah.
So that was like a really nice resource to have through chiropractic school to like see all those different people in our little bubble and to learn from them and hear about the different things that they were doing.
Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, it was really helpful and had a lot of people just kind of guide me towards what I ended up doing. I did schedule an appointment and I went to like a birthing center within a hospital system down there. It was like in the heart of Atlanta, and I went by myself because my son's dad was taking a test or something, and I didn't feel right. I left and I was like, it didn't feel like a place that I would want to give birth. So I reached out to a couple other people and they got me in contact with the midwife that they had used. And my son's dad was actually probably the most supportive and encouraging about me like considering a home birth. And
That's
so it's
awesome.
kind of how we went into that route.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so she was amazing. Her confidence, like in being a midwife and in her abilities to help me through this whole process, were just, it just made me feel so good about everything. Nothing was scary. It was all like supportive, happy, cool. We got this. So I really I learned a lot about midwifery. It pains me when I hear people kind of put down midwives, in a way that they talk like they're not as educated as other, birthing providers, because
Right.
they're so knowledgeable and awesome and supportive. And, the cool part about it is, kind of like chiropractors. I mean, they're willing to work with other providers to make sure that the experience is as best as possible,
Right.
So we had met with like a perinatalogist at a hospital in Atlanta. We decided to do one ultrasound at 20 weeks, just kind of like a full anatomy scan because both Justin and I did have like heart complications in our family. Like my niece had to be operated on instantly after birth. So for peace of mind, we decided to do the full anatomy scan at 20 weeks. And gosh, yeah, the perinatalogist we met with, like, he was just awesome. Like,
Oh,
he was so great with midwives. Like, he was in this hospital setting, but he was like, this is you. And like, I am just here if something goes wrong. So, like, if your midwife feels that things aren't going the way that they should, like, that's when you're going to come here and see me. And it like felt good. Like, it felt safe. It felt like, all right, I have all these people like in my ring who are here to support me and encourage me to do what my body can do. But if I need anyone or, anything happens, like they got me.
yeah.
So that was a very awesome experience.
That's awesome to hear. It sounds like it was more patient centered though too, because sometimes when we get into different medical offices or with different medical providers or health providers, it's not always patient centered. And you realize that when you're there, you're like, wait, this is me. Like, are you going to pay attention to me? Like, not that I want to be like ego centered, but also it's like, I'm here for a reason. Like, this is
Yeah.
about my journey, not your journey. So
Yeah.
that's awesome that you were able to experience that and a little bit more that medical model centered.
Yeah, it was cool. I think unfortunately, a lot of the hospital systems were out for him and didn't want him to be a part of that. So I don't know if he ended up retiring or going into private practice, but yeah, he was just like a great person, and it was really cool to see that. And it's interesting, like in the area I'm in Wisconsin right now, I don't feel like we have care like that here. But Atlanta was also a bigger city. There were a lot more options, and so my hope is that we can kind of grow more of that in this area and see more providers like that.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of I know a lot of chiropractors in Wisconsin that you guys are all on the same like path with the ICPA, the chiropractic part of kids in pregnancy and moms and midwives and just birth centers. So it's awesome to see what you guys are doing up in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
I'm excited for the growth that you guys all have.
yeah. I mean, and it starts just even in your community. Like I said, I'm excited to be a guest speaker at a talk tomorrow at a yoga studio, and just like the title empowered pregnancy, like I just love that because it's like I just want to empower women. I want women to feel like confident and happy and healthy and excited, and it's cool that we have this like amazing unique ability, right, as women to do this, and it's like we got to own it and hone in on it and have people to take care of us during those times, right?
Definitely. Well,
Yeah.
were there any things that you learned on your journey in pregnancy that you're like, I wish someone would have told me this. I wish I would have known this beforehand, or this would have been helpful to know?
hmm Yeah, honestly, I think postpartum stuff, like I feel like everybody's just like gearing you up for labor, and then it just like drops off after that. So for me, like I really struggled. The hardest thing for me was breastfeeding. My first 2 weeks were really, really tough. And I think for me, I just thought, oh, it's gonna be this like natural, easy thing, like my baby's gonna latch on, whatever. And I don't know if I maybe should have met with like a lactation consultant or someone in that realm to help me, because yeah, I struggled for the first 2 weeks, and that was really hard. And so the postpartum stuff, like I wish I would have been a little bit more prepared on that versus kind of everybody focusing on like pregnancy and what you should be doing, and then you get to you birth your baby, and then it's just like see you later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I try to talk to a lot of my moms and my patients about that, and like be that support during that time, because yeah, that can be really tough.
Yeah. And especially as a new mom, if you don't know what to expect, you just don't know. So you wouldn't know to look into the postpartum part or prepare meals or have things ready for if you have it at the hospital coming home or if
Mhm.
everything's done at home, making sure things are just ready for you
Yeah,
to
yeah,
welcome a new little being into the house, especially if you've got
yeah,
other kids or pets or there's a lot of dynamics that go into it, which is really neat to see.
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, postpartum is a great thing to think about in
hmm
the journey or on the journey.
Yeah.
If you were to have another baby in the future, is there anything you would do different or change about your first pregnancy or, prep for differently, either you mentioned post. Is there
Mhm.
anything else you would do on the journey, you think?
I was living a really awesome, healthy lifestyle, being in school, right? I mean, that was like my only focus was school. So I felt, really prepared to be pregnant. So when I got pregnant, I really didn't change a lot. Like I stayed pretty consistent with what I was doing. Um, I think what I would do if I got pregnant again is I would have better support for myself in that postpartum period. Like I was kind of an idiot and I went back to school the next week. I mean,
Oh, no, you did not.
yeah. Well, I took a really modified schedule. I barely had any classes. But even that, like getting up and getting out of the house, I mean, it was just exhausting. And I think I felt like I could jump back into everything really quick. And I'm just like, yeah, it's not going to be a big deal. But yeah, if I could do something different, I wouldn't necessarily change anything about like prior to getting pregnant or during my pregnancy. But yeah, I think that postpartum time, like I would actually take time off. I would be a little bit more prepared for that.
Yeah. I know they expect us to go back like the next day, especially, well, definitely in chiropractic school. It's like if you missed a test or a exam or anything like that, you were like, that's it.
Mhm.
So I totally get that, but just in general, I feel like that's kind of pushed on women sometimes too to get back within like 6 weeks. I mean, maternity leave here is ridiculous compared to other countries, if it even exists at your company or if you're a business
Right.
owner and you can take that time off. So definitely lots of dynamics that go into that, but yeah.
Yeah, you're totally right. And I feel that, and it is, and I guess that's maybe why I felt so like grateful that I had him during school, because I'm like, man, I can't imagine if I like would have had my baby and like had to go back to work, 12 weeks later or whatever it is, right? Um, and like be gone all day. Like at least I got to take him to school with me, and I could study with him and do all that. But yeah, I mean, I feel for women when they have to go back to work full time. Like I just that's gotta be tough.
Yeah. I don't
Mhm.
think it's how we were designed, when you look at just society and other cultures and stuff. I don't think that's what we were supposed to do fully.
No, I totally agree. Yes.
Let's see. Was there anything else you want to mention about your journey about having
Um,
kids?
I mean, I don't know if you want me to go into more of like the labor part of it. I mean, that
Can if
was
you'd like.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
the most fun part, I would say.
Yeah, totally. Let's talk about it.
Awesome. Well, yeah, so, having my son at home with the midwife, I, wasn't married or anything. So I actually had a roommate that I lived with, the one that was a massage therapist. And so my son's dad was like awesome, super supportive, great guy, in chiropractic school as well. And so he ended up coming over when I was like, all right, I think this is happening, you know.
Yeah.
I made the dumb mistake of eating a really big dinner, and
Oh no.
they came up to get me later, so that wasn't super pleasant. But it was super cool just being able to like just be in my house, right? Like I didn't have to have those moments of like, all right, I gotta pack a bag, we gotta get in the car, we gotta go. It was just kind of like, all right, I'm here, I'm like in my bed, I'm moving around, like I was kind of all over the place. And I think you almost go into this like euphoric state. Like it kind of feels like you're, I don't know, not that you're like on a different planet, but I don't know, you feel like you're like tripping out a little bit, like you just become this different mindset, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I think that's like when I really knew that things were happening and setting in. And what's cool about midwives too is, they kind of feel it out and take their time. So she didn't like run over right away, but, gave it a little bit of times, like, when the contractions get closer, giving my son's dad some specific instructions on that, then she shows up, which I feel like I don't even remember her showing up because I'm just doing my thing in the living room.
Yeah.
But we did do like a heated tub, so we had it set up for a while, and then I would not recommend like waiting until the last second to try to put water in it. So that was a little, unless you have like a really great hose system or something. But I feel like the way we were putting water into the tub was really slow and it did not get warm very quick. But that was like a super cool tool to have, just to like take off some of the relief from my body.
Yeah.
People always talk about having like labor pains or back pain. Like, I think everybody has that. Like, I don't know if you can like go through labor and like not feel it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, just in your pelvis with it like spreading and opening and the changes of like just your low back and the musculature. It's like, I think everybody's got, got that going on. So,
Yeah.
what was nice was having my friend is the massage therapist, and she would come over and just kind of do some different release, like on my low back and sacrum area. I didn't necessarily get adjusted, I don't think, while I was in labor. But I mean, I could have. It's just, you kind of go
Yeah.
through these ups and downs of like, okay, I want someone to like touch me or rub me or whatever. And then a second later, you're like, nobody touch me. Like,
Right.
it's like your senses just go really up and down. And so, I mean, I think everyone in the room just has to be kind of aware of that, don't take it personally type of a thing.
Right.
So yeah, like, and my son's dad was like, he'd get me like shots of honey or peanut butter or whatever, which the honey was a little bit more doable that I could take, but I'm like, peanut butter, I don't want peanut butter right now. So just, it like felt like a marathon, like I'm in this race and I got my people like giving me stuff and doing things and helping me along the way. And my midwife had some cool tools, so she would, either have me like go on the couch, which didn't work out for me, like laying on my back. If I would have been in a hospital setting, they probably would have done something like a C-section because my son's heart rate would drop.
Right.
So my midwife is like, okay, no go on that. Let's change positions. And so I did best like on my hands and knees or on like a birthing chair. So I did most of my, like, when it came time, it was like probably 3 or 4 in the morning. I don't think I really pushed for too long, but it was mostly like on a like birthing chair. So almost kind of like I was squatted down, just if no one knows what that is.
Yeah.
But like with the help of gravity, that was nice to like get my son going. And then I finished everything out like in the water. So hopped
Oh,
in,
cool.
was on all fours. And then yeah, my midwife's like, all right, like we got this, couple more. She just checked to make sure that the umbilical cord wasn't wrapped around his neck or anything. And my son's dad's in there with me, and we're just here we go. And he comes out, and it was just like a beautiful moment.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then, I did all the hard work of labor. So my son's dad gave my son his first adjustment like in the tub within a couple minutes. So that was really cool. We got some good like pictures and videos of that, which was fun and good memories for us crazy chiropractors.
Yeah, for sure. I know the youngest baby I adjusted was like 4 days old. I'm like, I'm getting closer.
Yep,
Because
yeah,
it's so valuable. It's so valuable when you think of a baby being crammed in there for like 9, 10 months, cooking.
yep. Mhm.
They're cramped in there. I mean, mom needs help on her pelvis. Like you said, you had your adjustments and your massage, but like
Mhm.
baby gets trauma, whether it's a vaginal birth or a C-section. It's a lot of trauma to that spine and body to come into this world. So
Right.
awesome
Yep.
to get them checked out. Make sure
Yeah,
everything's
yeah.
okay.
It was good. It was awesome.
Very cool. And I love that you said massage. So I'm adding that to my list. Like I'm picking up like key points of what everyone tells me on their journeys in motherhood. And I'm like, okay, I'm adding this to the list of what I want for my birth. So I'm like, massage therapist in the room.
Yeah, yeah,
I was like, that's
yeah. It
brilliant.
was, yeah, it
No one
was
has said
cool.
that yet, but like obviously it was a roommate, which is our housemate, so super helpful.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah, it was
adding it to the
awesome.
birth team list. My gosh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, and it was nice. Like, I mean, obviously she had that chiropractic, she was in school as well. So it's like she was able to combine some of that. And yeah, it was like I had my little healthcare team there with me.
Yeah, I love that. That's so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, it was
Also chiropractor
awesome.
in the room too, obviously, but like definitely
Yes.
massage therapist.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good group to have. But yeah, it was cool to just like I think the other thing that, when I'm talking to my patients sometimes and they talk about, their hospital experience or whatever, like, just another thing, like, I think in my head that I feel grateful for is it was just so nice to, like, just go upstairs to my bed,
Yeah.
like, just walk upstairs, get in bed with my baby. And it's just a really cool moment, like, you're in your space, you're, with the ones you love. And it was just, yeah, it was awesome. And you just rest and you're like, it's over. And for me, like my son was born at 5:40 in the morning, and so I think like 7 o'clock, my roommate's like, all right, well, I gotta go to class. And she like opens the door, and all of a sudden it's like the sun comes in, and it's like, wow, we've been like in darkness for hours, like
Right.
just like feels like it's like this new day, and now my baby's here. And
Yeah.
it's just kind of like a funny experience, like, see you.
Very cool. Yeah, you guys were totally in your own little like world though too.
Yeah, it really felt like it, at least for me, like the way my apartment was. I mean, we just had all the blinds shut, just dark and just kind of a little bit moody, like lighting. And I mean, I remember at one point, like opening my eyes and everybody's like laying around sleeping almost. I think because it's just like it was a point where they couldn't really do too much for me, right? Like I was just going in and out of my contractions, and so I think they were just getting in their cat naps so that they could, keep up their energy to stay with
Help
me.
you.
So
Yeah.
I just have these like little snippets and memories of things.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's funny.
If motherhood was a movie or a type of genre, what would you pick for motherhood for you right now with a little 8-year-old that you're hanging out with?
Oh my gosh, it's definitely comedy.
Yes, I love it.
It is definitely comedy with him. He's like a little funny kid for
Yeah.
sure. Oh
Oh, that's
yeah.
so fun.
Yep, that's what it would be for me.
That's awesome. Like the under 10 is like my favorite. Definitely
Yeah,
like 5, 6 is cool, but I think definitely under 10 because they're just like they come up with the craziest things to tell you.
yeah.
And
I
it's just so
love
fun.
I love this age. I like some people get really sad about their kids aging and getting older, and like you miss parts about it, right? Like, oh, when he was a baby, like this was sweet. But like I just think like every phase it just gets like more fun, like I just like I love the conversations. Like my son's an athlete, like I love the sports. Like it keeps getting like better and better.
Yeah,
I think it's so great. It's such a good age.
that's so awesome. I love it. Well, that's all I have for you. So I appreciate your time today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's seriously really fun to revisit because it's not like I talk about this every day.
Right? Thank you for listening to another empowering episode of Vibrant Beginnings hosted by me, Dr. Asha Thomas. This podcast is powered by Creating Vibrant Families, where our mission is to help couples on their journey to conception gain health for radiant pregnancies through to birth. Follow along for more empowering journeys to parenthood. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Have a good day. Bye.